Welcome to our video about the classic Pinocchio game for Sega Mega Drive and Genesis. It's a beautiful story which based on film and based on Italian novel by Carlo Collodi, The Adventure of Pinocchio. In this video we will see a story of development, story of gameplay and maybe something interesting maybe you didn't know before. Disney's early features used expensive animation techniques that eventually proved too costly, despite the quality of their results. Pinocchio was the second original cel animated feature, a dazzling piece of work that nearly bankrupted the studio, and is widely regarded as one of the best animated films ever made. It's a beautiful film both in appearance and structure, with memorable characters, timeless songs. As such, Pinocchio was a natural target for Virgin, who had already produced three highly successful Mega Drive Disney licenses: Aladdin, Jungle Book, and The Lion King. Pinocchio provides as good a plot for a video game as any other Disney title. It's based on the journey of a young boy, full of danger, drama, valuable lessons, and a wonderfully charismatic central character, a magical puppet who wants to be a real boy. It also helps that Disney was planning to release the future again on video for the first time in a limited edition. Previous releases, including Snow White, Fantasia, and The Beauty and the Beast, were mega sellers. As Virgin's big 16-bit game for Christmas '95, they hoped Pinocchio would achieve similar success. The game's two project coordinators, Dan Merchant and Tony Fagelman, talked freely about Disney's close involvement in the project. In common with their other licenses, Disney shows an interest approach and obsession in the way the characters are portrayed. Their activities as gameplay and incorporating the nuances of the movies into the game. Part of the agreement for the license is that Disney do all the animations themselves. Also, Virgin have 6 ex-Universal animators on their staff. The Virgin graphic artists had prepared the roofs from the start of the project, partly to allow the programmers to construct the game around the sprites and partly to indicate to Disney what they wanted. All of these are sent to artists at Disney World, Florida. Tony admits it is sometimes an exasperating and disheartening process to see radical changes to their own work. To enhance the process, Virgin developed their own animation player which loads the animation from personal computer, allowing them to be seen against the backgrounds that will be used in the game. The needs of the animators programmers must be balanced. In a video game, the amount of memory allocated to animation is restricted. Pinocchio will have around 2000 frames, a lot by Mega Drive standards, but even that could have been easily consumed by Disney's specs for the main character alone. The game has 31 characters to fit in the allocation, more than twice the amount in Lion King, with Pinocchio himself taking more than a quarter of all frames. Frames are traced on animation paper, colored on computer, then reprinted. The final sprite designs are then rendered by Virgin programmers. The attention to detail is tremendous. One example is Pinocchio's run. When the game opens, he skips slightly, but as the plot places him in peril, new animations show his change in the mood. It's almost like Walt Warsaw, the concept of video games, as these guys are perfect. Also, they only appear for seconds in the movie. They work really well in the game, melting and out of the shadows trying to clobber Pinocchio. There will not, sadly, be a Saturn version of Pinocchio. This is due to legal rights and other boring matters. Basically, Disney want to keep the rights to the Super consoles for themselves, as they ramp up production of video games from their own in-house development team. Their first project is a game of Pocahontas, the story of the Indian girl. The good news is that an enhanced 32x version of Pinocchio is underway. The hardware allows for extra layers of parallax scrolling and double the amount of colors, improved samples and static screens. However, massive changes in the game design and levels are not expected. Also, the Mega Drive version has an 8-month start. Virgin are still reasonably confident of simultaneous release of 16 and 32-bit formats. The game is platformer played as Pinocchio. He can move right, left, and down and jump with C button. He can perform a spinning kick with A if he finds a red page. He automatically grabs ledges and pulls himself up. Some levels diverge from these controls and play differently. Pinocchio's health is indicated by a fiery vent in the top left corner of the screen. It goes down as he takes damage from enemies. If he loses all of this health, he loses a try. He also loses a try if he falls down a bottomless pit. If he loses all of his tries, the game ends, but it can be continued as long as the player has continuous. The sound and the music are beautiful and more than fitting for this type of game. The controls are easy and you will quickly get the hang of them. Why keep going? Because Pinocchio is one of those games that you could write a lot about, but it's unnecessary, as it deserves for everyone to see it for themselves and admire its beauty. Pinocchio is certainly aimed at younger players, just like Donald, but its beautiful execution somewhat generalizes and adapts it for all age groups. If you have finished Donald and would like to continue in a similar spirit, then Pinocchio is an excellent choice for you. It is truly one of the best games of its kind. Final rating in Czech Republic was 90%. What a shame that long-awaited game with such a famous story as Foundation should turn out to be so disappointing. This wooden game never comes to life. It was a rating from US. Fun and entertaining. Pinocchio comes to Mega Drive in a cartridge identical to the Super Nintendo version, with the same strengths and weaknesses. Once again, Disney has proven that it's capable of both the best and the worst, even within the same game. In this case, we are faced with a cartridge that boasts excellent animation, a great variety of stages, and an appealing appearance, but it also has a downside due to how excessively easy it is. In the first playthrough, a player over 5 years old could finish it without problems. Perhaps the youngest members of the household, but the very youngest will be the only ones who can fully enjoy this Pinocchio. It was a rating from Spain. Rating was 80%. The characters look great, but the backgrounds are sometimes a bit bland. Pinocchio and Jiminy bounce around the screen in impressive detail. Great inversions of the songs from the film. Nothing to speak of, but it's not that kind of game. Fun, but slightly slow moving. This won't present much of challenge to seasoned gamers. And the final rating was a modest platformer with only a few nice touches, fun for fans. Final rating was 82%. The final rating from France was 83%. It was not big difference between Genesis and Mega Drive covers, but all of them looks great. Okay, what can I say about this game? I want to say this game looks very great, graphic, gameplay, and in general I want to say that I like this game. And what do you think about it?